Good morning. This is Danielle and Tim with ND Out Loud and ND Visionary Partners. We're going to have a little bit of a different discussion today, which I think is cool because we often talk about training in corporate and things like that and things that need to change for hiring practices, which all of those videos are there if you want to check them out. But today we want to talk about technology that exists for those of us with invisible disabilities and visible disabilities. And I'm actually going to talk about technology that allows me to adapt every day. Tim's got some technology that allows him to adapt every day. And then we're going to talk things like ChatGPT and how that works and how people that are neurodivergent can use it. So we've got some cool technology today to really talk about that you as an employer and an employee can use in pretty much everyday life for some of these. So one of my favorite ones to talk about right now, and I know it's Tim's, is DeepSign AI. So tell us a bit about DeepSign, Tim.
Yeah, so we're just a little over a week beginning one of the greatest honors of my life in being promoted as co-CEO of DeepSign AI. So I'm so incredibly excited about that, and we have a lot of upcoming events that are on our social media that you can all kind of follow along with. So if anybody is in Boise, Idaho, where I currently live, or in Austin, Texas, we got 2 events coming up in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, so DeepSign AI is in the SLR field, which is sign language recognition. And as a deaf individual like myself, we truly feel, and we don't feel, we know that we have technology that is going to change the world. So what we have been doing and what we think we are kind of different than all of our competitors that we support, like we're in a space where like we want our competitors to succeed because that means I succeed and I'm able to utilize the technology that's going to change the lives of deaf and hard of hearing people all across the world. But how we're different is the fact that we have the tech set up in demos and have people use the technology themselves. So they can critique it, they can tell us whether they like it or not, they can give us positive and negative feedback. And 100% of the time, it's always positive, which is pretty cool to see. So we had a demo in Riverside, California last weekend, and I did this really quick road trip that had 2 13-hour drives sandwiched between 2 days in California, and I'm still recovering from that. But we're in a place in which we feel that we've been able to teach AI what the hand does and the importance of the hand and how the hand moves. And we're in the mindset that now that we have figured that piece out, which is a very important part of it through a single camera, who better to teach AI how the hand moves than the American deaf community and the worldwide deaf community. So we're in a place in which we're assimilating the whole language, and then we're using applications that might be anything from a smartphone to ordering coffee in a coffee shop or an ASL. And so to be in a leadership role with this company is incredible. It is so incredible. So I wear a lot of different hats. I have a hat with ND Out Loud and ND Visionary Partners, which is an incredible honor, and we got some exciting things that are happening with that. But the hat that I wear, that's my most important hat, or the hat that I'm most excited about, is the fact that we're literally changing the world for deaf people and making it more accessible by having AI recognize and assimilate ASL.
And it's just amazing because, again, I've grown up with deaf and hard of hearing siblings and watching the changes in the technology over the years. I mean, when Tim was first diagnosed, his hearing aids were he actually, even at home, wore this huge thing attached to his chest on a harness, which he hated because he tried to throw it out of a car window going 60 miles an hour at one point. I remember this. To hearing aids that are even barely visible. All of this amazing technology now. It's amazing. It really is amazing. So for my side of things, most everybody knows that we're coming out with a custom app this year for neurodivergent adults, college kids up through adults. And we're going to be offering safe spaces, community, one-on-one coaching, resources, trainings, all of that. And we are working on that app, which there are other ADHD apps out there, but unlike those that are based on one-on-one coaching or just body doubling, because there's Focus Mate, which is fantastic and amazing, because this is something I've used for Okay. I won't admit how long. Body doubling has been a huge thing for me since I was probably 16, 17 in getting things done. So to see an app come out that has 24/7 body doubling available to people through an app is fantastic for us. But there's still a lot of missing gaps that I see in our neurodivergent community of support that is needed between text-based only coaching, you one-on-one coaching with a coach, not AI. There's a lot of AI stuff out there right now that please don't do that, because I've heard some really horrible things because it's just not there yet. And then working one-on-one with a coach, being in a community, offering body doubling, offering training, offering tips, tricks, all of those things, and not offering the standard what therapy puts out there, which is CBT, which has its place, but it's not the full story for those of us. Executive function training is 99% of what we need. We need the practical day-to-day. And that's what we're focusing is practical day-to-day items that can allow you to take action and find success every single day. And that's where we're headed with that, which I never thought, as somebody who's worked as a project manager for startups with apps, I never thought I would be building my own. And this is exciting. And then we have the corporate side where we've been working with Next Communication to get Dr. Jessica Hickstead's wide insight survey out there. And that is ready to go. And I'm so excited. I'm writing marketing material with her right now. Jessica has been working on this for a long time, and to help Jessica get her software out there into the world and being part of that journey is awesome. And we're all very excited about that around here. And those are just two things that we're offering. So we're offering corporate consulting, we're offering one-on-one consulting, we're offering community, but then we get to do things like show people how to use ChatGPT in a way that's actually, it can change your life.
Yeah, it really can. Like ChatGPT can become your assistant. Hey, what about this idea? And then just put it in ChatGPT, and it really kind of like fleshes it out in a bullet points. Yeah, like I use it all the time. Like I'm trying to remember like what was like pre-ChatGPT in terms of like how it helped me. Like I can't imagine life without it now.
Oh, I use it every single day. And we have task overwhelm. We have decision fatigue as neurodivergence. We have procrastination as neurodivergence. A lot of procrastination. And ChatGPT can just flip that switch. Just put a task list and make this easy for me to get done today. That's all you got to tell it. And it will break it all down into the individual steps, tell you how long each step will take, which for a neurodivergent person means I have to beat the clock.
Yep.
And help you get all of the things done that you were 5 minutes ago. Oh no, I have too much to do. I'm going to go take a nap.
Right.
And now you can get things done.
And there's a lot of people that say, well, ChatGPT or any other kind of AI like Grok and some of the other ones is putting us in a place in which it's kind of like dumbing down like work and all of that. And I truly feel that it's really opening our minds to more possibilities than we previously thought. And so like it's opening things, it's not closing things down.
So as a neurodivergent, if I'm overwhelmed, I can't do anything. So if I can get out of overwhelm and make all of that task management super simple, and that's just one way I use it a million different ways. If I can make that task management, that means I can go be more creative and create something more amazing over here. Or I could spend more time with my husband and not be feeling guilty or that shame cycle of not getting things done, or that panic of, oh my God, I forgot to do XYZ. Now I can just live my life with less overwhelm. Yeah. That's what ChatGPT does for us.
And, something to keep in mind that going forward, we know that the new models of AI that's coming out the next few months that literally will build a business for you based upon an idea that you have. So we're talking marketing materials, graphics, the actual outline of the job, staff, like how to pay them, like from A to Z, how to actually set up your own business through AI. So like we're talking like new economies that are going to be built as a result of it. So like it just goes well beyond what we could possibly imagine.
I mean, there's another one out there called Sintra, SINTRA.ai, and I used that for a little while, and it is literally a whole entire business in a box. You have your business development, you have your marketing, you have your copywriter, you have your VA that will help you make flight arrangements and stuff. You have your financial analyst, you have your market analyst. Like, I think it's like 12 AI bots all in one package, and it's amazing.
It's kind of funny. This is slightly off the point, but I use ChatGPT to help me develop a better road trip, like a map for getting from where I live to Southern California last week. And I'm like, it gave me like all the different places to stop along the way. It factored weather into the drive, knowing that, okay, between this time and this time, you're going to face this weather. And like, my mind was actually blown as a result of it. And when I went to go back to Google Maps just to cross-reference that, it was so much better than Google Maps. Even though Google Maps in itself has its own AI that's built into it, like that was just such a simple thing. I saw that, and I saw it and read it, and I figured, hey, I might as well use this, and it made my drive so much better.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, over here on the side, I don't know if you can tell I'm typing. Tim and I are doing a road trip in a little over 2 months. This just did a really cool. This did a cool road trip.
Yeah.
Different things to see, different places to eat, quick pit stop. Like, this is really cool.
Yeah. And then my girlfriend is gluten-free, so I was able to build that in. It's like, okay, what are some gluten-free places to stop to get some food? Like, it's mind-blowing.
Okay, that's just really awesome. I had never thought about using that, so I learned something new today. So, and there are other tools out there that can help, like with all kinds of things. There are so many VA assistants now, AI VAs, and that's virtual assistant for anybody who may not know what that means. But they can help you do things like book a trip. They can help you decide what needs to be done for your son. Your son has baseball, your daughter has baseball. I have to be here. What should I make for dinner? How do I make dinner? How do I get to 12 places at once? And ChatGPT, an AI assistant, can just break it all down for you and make all of those processes so much easier. Can you imagine if you are software developers? I know software developers are using it to tell them what order that they should be creating things. And instead of looking at things as a huge project, it's breaking it down into the micro steps. Like, just things like that make you more efficient.
Yeah. So I admit I use ChatGPT for this to kind of give a list of different technology platforms that people with ADHD and neurodivergent can use. And it could be deaf and hard of hearing people. There's a lot of applications for this as well. And so we have it broken down into different categories: productivity and focus, time management and reminders, note-taking and information processing, sensory and emotional regulation, communication and social integration or interaction, and then assistive and accessibility technology. So I'm going to copy and paste this and give this to Danielle for us to post in the socials when we put this out. But I'm not going to go through every single one because we talked about some of these before. But going back to the first category with productivity and focus, we have Trello, Notion, we have Forest and Freedom, Auto AI, which I've used a lot, and Brain FM. So first of all, with Trello, it's task management. So just simple,
But it can be pretty. It's really easy to follow if you are someone that has maybe dyslexia or are neurodivergent and you need something unique to look at and a way to look at things. It's like moving a Post-it note around on a today, tomorrow, next week. You can move things around really easily. And Trello is pretty awesome. It's something that we use here as a team.
Yeah, and it's visually appealing too. So like the ADHD need to have color and some interesting thing to look at. Forest and Freedom is an app that blocks distractions and encourage focus. So it's just a way it's basically like a DND thing like you have on your phone. So to say, okay, for the next hour, I need to focus, and you have that.
There's an even cooler option out there, and it's an app, but it's an app with a physical piece to it, and it's called Brick. And it's just this small tile that you can put on your refrigerator and go upstairs to your bedroom and still not be able to get on certain things. So in order to get into it, you have to open the app and be standing and put the brick against your phone to get into apps.
Oh yeah, I've heard about it. Something I wouldn't mind having myself. And then Auto AI, it's just a speech to text, and it's so accurate. And there have been times me as a deaf and hard of hearing person where I'm in a place in which I don't hear very well. I use it for that. And then it saves everything, so you can go back and review it. So that's a great thing to have, like AI tools that are built into your Zoom accounts. So we've had conversations in the past with some employers. They're like, oh, that's something that we can do to help our staff person be more
It's
productive.
already built into everything that we pay for. Yeah.
Stuff. And the Brain FM is music designed to improve focus and cognitive function. So just having that in the background while you focus on whatever task you want to complete. I do that.
A Brain FM is fantastic. I've used it for years. I've actually moved on to creating some of my own things now and my own playlists like on YouTube, but it's fantastic. So here are some of the apps that I use every day. As you know about all of the habit building ones like TickTick and Notion and Timo and Brain Focus. Those are all like executive function, productivity, habit building. But for me, with being neurodivergent with MS, I need apps to help me track things because I'm too distracted to remember that I had 4 pain days last week and only 2 this week. I need something to help me with that. And there is an app called Flare Down, Flare Down, that helps track fatigue, flare-ups, sickness, what medications you're on. It is fantastic for somebody like me who has a hard time tracking those things, that can't go into the doctor and accurately tell them what my pattern is right now. The app is, and it reminds me to interact with it enough to help me use those things.
Yeah. Oh, and that's wonderful. So what did people do prior to that? They didn't
write
have
it. That hope to, if you're neurodivergent, hope that you remembered to write it down and you remembered where you wrote it down so you can remember to give it to the doctor, which didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I believe that. And then with time management, we have time timer, which is a visual timer that helps with time perception and task transitions. Google Calendar. So I have to tell you, my girlfriend, who is very ADHD, I've been really working with her about having Google Calendar set up because we've had a lot of times where it's like, oh, darn it, I forgot we have an appointment in an hour. And like, oh no, now we need to scramble to get to that appointment. So we've been using Google Calendar. Now we have dual calendars. So I see hers and she sees mine. So we remind each other because sometimes I forget things. It's wonderful. It's so simple, but like it's so great. And then Pomodoro or Focus Booster. So it's an app that based upon the Pomodoro technique and to break work into manageable chunks. So I've never used that. I'm curious about it.
I like Pomodoro technique. It's like 20 to 30 minute chunks. You've got 5, 10, 15, 30 minute chunks, and you can watch it count down. A lot of people do really well with it. I don't. I actually do well with an old kitchen timer because if I can hear it ticking down, it keeps me on track because I know I have to beat the timer. Visual timers, I forget about and I lose track. But I know it works for me.
So, yeah, I use my watch where I just set a timer for whatever time I need. Yeah.
I often do that. I forgot to charge mine, so it's charging right now. Something that I really, really like that is some specific different things that work for different types of disabilities. Tim talked about Otter AI. It transcribes speech to text, but it also it really helps for auditory processing. So whether you're hearing impaired or not, auditory processing, fatigue, like sensory fatigue, or just distractibility in a meeting, it's fantastic because it catches everybody and then boils it down and then will give you a summary of everything and action points, which I love that. And so I've taken road trips with other people I work with, and I've just turned Otter AI on in the car to capture every idea because we're usually brainstorming as you take a trip. And then my team can see in real time even what we're talking about and start tracking the ideas that we have and putting them into task lists and stuff like that. So as a C-suite person, it is a fantastic app to use just me to talk to myself to track all of the things that ideas I'm having or stuff like that.
Yeah, I see myself using that given my new role. So
yeah, I really suggest it. There's another one called Speechify. If you have brain fog, are dyslexic, have reading issues and things like that, it will read text out loud for you. And when I'm really exhausted, I have MS and there are days that I can't look at my screen, Speechify will even read Facebook posts to me and read our community stuff to me and stuff, and make that much easier for me to still get to interact with and engage with, even when I'm unable to visually look at something.
Yeah. That's great. Like, I'm not sure that someone like myself who's deaf would like that, but like,
no, probably not. But somebody who is blind has, like I said, with MS, I'm dizzy a whole lot and my vision gets very, very blurry. So that is something that I'm learning to use a whole lot.
Yeah.
And there's also something called Be My Eyes, which, like DeepSign, is for somebody who is blind, and you just use the camera on your phone and somebody else verbally tells you what you're seeing with your camera so that you can participate in your environment.
Yeah. And I've seen that with deaf blind and deaf individuals that use just low vision, that you die and then it gets hooked up to the Bluetooth braille reader, where that's how I've seen that in conferences, and it's super cool. Yeah. For, kind of in the same place with note-taking and information processing, we have Microsoft OneNote, which I've used, and it's great. LiveScribe with the Smart Pen, so it converts handwritten notes into digital text and sync with audio recordings, which is great. And MindMeister, or XMind, which is a mind mapping tool for visual thinkers. So, and that's probably something that I think I could utilize because I'm very visual. So that's great.
Something else that's similar to that is called MindNode. Mind, M-I-N-D, MindNode. And it works very similar. So there's a couple apps out there that do that now.
Yeah. And then for sensory and emotional regulation, this is huge in the neurodivergent and ADHD space. Calm and Headspace, which is a guided meditation app for anxiety and stress management. With just, digital fidgeting tools to help with self-regulation, noise-canceling headphones. I mean, like, it's so simple. And I have a friend of mine that got noise-canceling headphones through his vocational rehabilitation program locally, and it changed his life in terms of his professional development, just being able to have that.
So other things, I mean, we've talked about like loop earplugs, obviously, is something, and while that's not an app, it's still technology that is really necessary for many of us. But one of the biggest things I'm going to tell you that is the best thing for you to have.
Yeah. I need to get one myself.
An iPhone. And why do I say iPhone? Because most apps that are made for the mental health space, for invisible disability space, come out on an iPhone a year to 2 years before they come out on Android. And I do know that this is cost prohibitive for a lot of people, but your vocational and educational center will help you put one of these in your hands.
Yeah. So I thought you meant like the handle on the back of your phone.
Oh no, this is the best thing ever. These are, I can't even remember what these are called. I can't read it. The love handle. It's a love handle. So it's a magnet for the back of your phone, and it has this strap on it, and you can tip it up and do kinds of things with it. And it is strong. I use it for taking pictures, like in Disney World. I could put my phone on a lamppost or on the garbage can and take a picture of myself using my watch without having to have somebody take a picture. But I mean, that's a nice thing, but it's also means I don't set my phone down as much. Yeah. And I don't lose it.
Yeah. I need to get me one of those, but yeah, I mean, Apple, like we're not sponsored by Apple. That'd be kind of cool if we do one day get sponsored by Apple, but yeah, Apple is just so much better when it comes to accessibility, especially for deaf and hard of hearing people. 99% of deaf people that I know have iPhones because FaceTime is just so much easier to use than Google, whatever the Google one is. So yeah, it's definitely.
There's a lot more accessibility available in the Apple universe between the tablets and all of the things, but the phone has opened up so many things to me. And I know that's what we're building on first, is we're building on iPhone first, because I mean, one, from a financial standpoint, I'll make more money from Apple first. And number two, it's just the platform that most people use for these adaptive technologies that exist out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So communication and social integration, these are very simple. You have Grammarly, which I use a lot, and Hemingway editors will help you writing with clarity and structure. I use ChatGPT as well. I probably use ChatGPT more than Grammarly, but I have Grammarly built into everything as well, just a free version. But so that's good. And then Prolog to Go or Ava, which is an augmented and alternative communication tool for nonverbal and speech processing challenges. So I've never used that, so I'm curious about it.
I have heard good things about it. This not something I struggle with, but I have a couple of clients who do struggle with that, and that works very well for them.
Yeah. And then you got Rewordify, which simplifies complex text for easier comprehension.
I use that
Yeah.
for I'm in college again, and I have been using Rewordify a lot because I'm taking pharmacology and my brain hurts, and that it's Rewordify, amazing.
I've done that before where, like, if I get like a really complicated email or just paperwork related to all the different things that I'm doing, and I just feed it into ChatGPT and I say, hey, can you explain this to me in 8 bullet points? So that, to make sure that I fully comprehended the full document, because I don't want to miss anything, obviously. And so it breaks it down so simple, and then I now know how to respond to it.
Your Apple Mail will do that for you now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, that's I think when you have a 16 and above, I think that's what it is. Like with
Oh,
my
yeah, you do have to have the newer ones. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then the last one in this category would be just Discord and Slack. Slack is huge. I love Slack. And like that just helps with just the standpoint of keeping productivity and keeping tabs on each other and accountability. It's an incredible tool.
Yeah. I mean, my team, some of them, and I'm giving him the side eye over here. I love Slack. Yeah, dude, you don't show up very often. Slack is how we keep track of everyone. And because we're all over the world, all over the country, and it just makes it easier for us all to communicate with one another on Slack and to be productive and to have fun. Like I asked a fun question this week of if your executive function had a theme song. And while most people think that's dumb, you want to know how good it was for team building? And we came up with a name for our little avatar because one of the other guys on my team is from where Tim and I are originally from. And he sent me a commercial from like the 80s that he remembered. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. And we had such an amazing discussion about it. And I'll have to tell Tim about that afterwards because I'm not announcing it now because we got stuff going. But just that interaction and that engagement, and that is a productivity tool, a mental health tool, and a organizational tool. And organizational and productivity are two different things. That is life-changing to many that are working from home or even working in an office where you feel alone and things like that.
Yeah. And then, shout out to Microsoft Teams, which has a lot of similar features that Slack has, so to be able to have those chats and channels and all of that, which I know we're doing a switch over to Teams, but we're always going to have Slack, but that works as well. In the pandemic, I really pushed my employer to have Teams because me as a deaf and hard of hearing person, to be able to have that, to be able to keep in touch with my coworkers, because obviously phone calls are difficult. And so, yeah, that's great.
Yeah. There are so many other apps, so many other things that exist out there. If you don't know what you're looking for, put your problem into ChatGPT and say, I am struggling with reading this text. And it's going to suggest apps for you, suggest things and tips and tricks and tools for you to do that. ChatGPT, I would say, is probably one of the most transformational apps out there when it comes to somebody with any type of disability. And when I say any type of disability, I was really struggling with, we're going on a long road trip. This is my first really long road trip with MS, and I need to know what is safe for me. How long can I sit? What do I need to do? Like, it was just the reading all over the forums and all of that was overwhelming. So I told ChatGPT what I was doing and going on the road trip. And I didn't ask it about the actual road trip, just tips and tricks of how to survive the road trip, what to pack, all of those things. And ChatGPT helped me come up with and made me feel better about taking this road trip.
Yeah.
And it was just a simple packing list, really, but it can process millions of bytes of data and bits and bytes of data in seconds and give you all of that without you having to put so much executive function into whatever it is you got to do.
So therefore, now you can focus on other things that you have more mental energy to focus on those things. So like, it's such a win.
It's huge. So if you're having a hard time making dinner tonight and you don't want to think about dinner, put in what you have in your fridge to make dinner with, and ChatGPT will give you a bunch of recipes and ideas. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know if we have more time, but I have four other things, four other pieces of tech.
Run through them real quick.
Maybe we can close out with that. But so we have assistive and accessibility technology. So accessibility technology is huge for me. That's what I'm working on with DeepSign AI, which is, again, such an honor. One is called Be My Eyes, which is a volunteer-based app providing visual assistance. So for low vision individuals or someone like yourself, that sometimes you have bad days where your vision is not where you want it to be, that can be something that you can use. Seeing AI, so it's AI-powered app that describes the world for visually impaired users. So
I love that AI. So Be My Eyes is a physical person that explains things to you and tells you what's going on. But some of these apps are AI doing that. That is just so cool to me that an app can do that now.
Yeah. And then two more. We have read and write by text help. So the text to speech and a speech to text and reading comprehension support, which again, ChatGPT can do that as well. But that's great. And then what about Google Lens? So
Google Lens is fantastic. I installed that on my iPhone. I love it.
Yeah. So that's what I have. And like I said, we'll probably put these up in social media and then maybe even tag each of the different platforms. And so like you can then click on the link and go into the websites.
Yeah. We'll have them out in a series of posts for you. Please be watching because we're going to start putting our app of the week, things like that out there. We really want you to take advantage of all of the technology that is out there. It is so important. Whether you work in a corporate job, you're an entrepreneur, a stay-at-home mom, a college student. I mean, as a college student, I am finding a lot of these apps are so helpful. I hope that you find this video really helpful. If you have questions, if you need more support and you're looking for a place to find a home and find people who understand you, reach out to us because either our community is right for you or we'll help you find the one that is. I hope you have an amazing day today.